This is the Neon Tarantino, the director, Derek Dillinger.
And Katie Arquette, the leading lady of the production.
And we're live. No second takes, no reshoots.
And you're watching the Main Event Wrestling Network.
Cut.
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone is well. Welcome in to Kayfabe Coffee. You know, it's Thursday morning. I'm JPJ here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. We're going to be talking some AEW Dynamite this morning. Thank you all for popping in and joining me. Hopefully you got your energy drink, like Kyle says, your coffee. I have my cold brew. Just had my delicious bagel. Ready to go. Ready to chat. Some wrestling, some graps, some AEW Dynamite with y'all. But before we do that, you know, you see it right there. Main Event _net. Twitter, Instagram. Follow us. This QR code that is on my right here, click that. That'll send you everywhere you need to go to find all of our stuff here at the Main Event Wrestling Network. We're on the road to 400 subscribers on YouTube. So go, give us a follow, click that bell for notification. And don't miss out on all the great stuff we have. We got a lot of stuff daily here. And then we have this big boy right here. Next weekend, May 22nd, May 23rd, it is the Main Event Wrestling Main Event Marathon, Part 2, 24 straight hours dedicated to pro wrestling. There'll be debates. There'll be fun shows. You're even going to see potentially me and Pluggo doing something together. You know, obviously we do beards together, but we haven't really done a ton together here since we've joined the Main Event Net. So you're going to see Pluggo and I together in that 24-hour span, talking some graps. It's a great cause. It's a great thing. The second time we'll be doing it here at Main Event. That is May 22nd and 23rd, 24 straight hours, a marathon. So make sure you're tuning in. If you can last the 24 hours with us, you know, I'll buy you a shirt. I'll do it. But yeah, so tune into that. There's going to be a lot of good. All of us are all chipping in. We're all going to be doing different things, some fun stuff. It's going to be a great time. So check that out next weekend, Memorial Day weekend. And that will perfectly lead into Double or Nothing, which is Sunday, May 24th, night before Memorial Day. So you get our 24 hours to lead you in. Saturday night's main event is that Saturday, the 23rd. Double or Nothing, the 24th. Then we have Memorial Day, the 25th. I mean, come on. What more do you need on a weekend? Yeah. So, but yeah, Great Brown Hope. Good to see you, friend. I don't know. I woke up stuffy today, y'all. Am I getting sick? Who knows? But I'll tell you what was sick. That episode of AEW Dynamite last night, guys. Another great one. We'll talk about it. I don't think so. But we shall talk about it. Let's dive in to last night's AEW Dynamite. They were in Asheville, North Carolina. That's where they were last night. And the show starts off. We get Renee Paquette backstage, and she's trying to get a hold of MJF. She's trying to ask him if he's going to put his if he was going to put his hair on the line, and MJF refuses to answer. And as he's walking through like the loading dock area, he just sees all the like bald people at like the crew members. They're all bald. And then you see John Silver, and John Silver flexes at him, which made me laugh. And MJF is kind of looking like paranoid and stuff, like, oh, look at all these bald guys. And then he runs into Tommaso Ciampa, and Ciampa keeps on moving, but then he runs into the Demand. And Ricochet says, hey, man, Max, you're going to look great bald. He goes, not as good as me. And he does his laugh. and MJF just keeps on walking. And then we kind of transition right in. Yeah, I thought this was very funny. I thought this was very well done. The crowd was chanting bald, 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 like they've been doing the last couple weeks. He sees all the bald people. I thought this was really well done. I thought it was funny. And it was a good little humorous start before we dived into the hot action of the evening. Eric, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for popping in, my man. Hope you're well. And then this leads to a 10-man tag right out the chute. We got Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, Orange Cassidy, and the Young Bucks teaming up to take on FTR, Tommaso Ciampa, and the War Dogs, or I should say just the Dogs, Clark Connors and David Finlay. This match is listen, I am not the type of guy that goes into every single detail about what happens in these matches, because there's just too much going on in these matches, and that's not a negative. AEW knows how to book these 6-man, 8-man, 10-man, whatever you want to do. AEW is one of the best at booking them. It's just chaotic. Everybody gets their shit in. At one point, everybody looks great. We will be talking about the Owen brackets. I have those picked up. They were released on the evening, so we will be diving in and discussing some of the Owen brackets this morning as well. But this was a really, really fun, entertaining, and I'm going to be honest with you, this went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. I thought this match was going to be like 5 to 8 minutes shorter than it actually was. I expected the good guys to win, and that's what we got. We saw kind of a smorgasbord on poor Clark Connors of all the finishing moves at the end of the match. And at one point, Connors takes a bunch of shit, and he kicks out, and it's like, what? All right. And then there's a little bit more chaos. The Shatter Machine is hit. And then Orange Cassidy comes in for a save. He's doing the lazy kicks on FTR. They kind of push him away. Another Shatter Machine attempt. It gets blocked. The Bucks come in. They're super kicking everybody. Finlay hits the rock bottom backbreaker and a DDT on the Bucks. They hit it. Christian hits a kill switch on Ciampa. And then Connors gets isolated again. They do a 3-person. It's Copeland and the Young Bucks hit a 3-person super kick on Connors right into the orange punch, which then leads to Adam Copeland hitting a vicious spear on Clark Connors. And he gets the 1, 2, 3. The good guys prevail. Copeland, Cage, Cassidy, and the Young Bucks get the win in the opening 10-man to start the show. A very fun, very hectic, very chaotic 10-man, just action everywhere, outside, inside the ring. What you come to expect with these multi-man tags. It's very odd because you would think, and like, look, this one was pretty star-studded, these 10 guys, especially on the babyface side. That's like the Bucks, Copeland, Christian, and Orange Cassidy. That's like, some of the most over people in the company there. So this was very star-studded. And as much as AEW throws these tags at us almost on a weekly basis, they just always do them so well. Like, I can't remember the last time we saw an 8-man or 10-man super tag, whatever they call it. And it's been boring. Like, these are just not boring matches. They just know how to book them. They know how to get it. So like the crowd is just energized from the start to the finish. There's no lulls. It's just nonstop craziness. And this was another example of this. This was really good. And then we get something that my guess would be they'll get the winner. We'll let Double or Nothing happen. And we'll see who wins the tag. I mean, that would be my guess. I don't think they're going to do it before. I mean, my expectation is that Copeland and Christian are winning the tag titles at Double or Nothing. That's what I would expect. So another good guy team in the conglomeration challenging them for the tag titles, I don't think is like the worst thing. But it would be great. I mean, unless they announce it on next week's 3-hour Dynamite, because they're doing a 3-hour Dynamite again next week. So unless it gets added to that, I don't know what you would gain between having their tag title match before. Because if they end up having their tag title opportunity with FTR before Double or Nothing, that is a dead giveaway. And look, most likely they're not winning. They're not going to beat whoever the tag champs are. But to me, that's a dead giveaway that there's no chance they're winning. Because you're not going to not have Cope and Christian versus FTR at Double or Nothing. That's 100%. That's one of your marquee matches. So my thought process would be they get that challenge after. But we'll see. Maybe it'll get added to next Wednesday. I don't know. We'll have to see. After this, though, we got one of, if not my favorite thing that happened on this show, is we get another training package with the Death Riders. They're on a roof of a building, maybe the roof of the arena. I'm not sure. And Daniel Garcia says, Will's cleared. He goes, so we need something for him. And the camera kind of pans, and you have Moxley, who's he's demonstrating holds on Wheeler Yuta, and Will is bridged, like resting on his head, like stretching his neck out, like doing a neck strengthening workout on his tiptoes, bridged. Looks really cool. And Moxley's giving Yuta, he's showing Will how to, like, oh, if you get him in this position, he's got nowhere to go because you can do this or you can turn it around and do that. So he's kind of showing Will some of the stuff. They get up on their feet. Moxley goes, how you feeling? And Ospreay says, I feel good. And then this leads into Moxley here. And this might have been one of my favorite things I've heard Moxley say. Like, I absolutely love this from Moxley. He asked Will, he goes, remember when you won the Best of the Super Juniors? And Will's like, yeah, 2019. And John says, yeah, a lifetime ago, it feels like, right? He goes, remember how carefree you were? And then you flew like a bird for no other reason than birds fly. I wrote a lot of this down. So he goes, things were simpler back then, about the joy of doing it. And then everybody came in and tried to make it so overcomplicated. He says, years pass, life happens, you get a family, responsibilities, bad things happen, bad choices catch up to you, and the weight, and he like puts his hands on Ospreay's shoulders. He says, the weight weighs on your shoulders. He goes, you feel like you can't fly. He goes, but I'll tell you, nothing is different. Nothing has changed. He goes, all those things will still be there, but you can still fly. You're just way more dangerous now. He goes, you're a bird of prey. He goes, so tonight when you go out there, don't go out there to protect your neck, your image, your reputation. Go out there and give something. And then he just kind of yells at Wheeler Yuta and walks off, and you just kind of see Ospreay like standing there, like shaking his head, like, yeah. I fucking love this. I loved Moxley. This just felt like he was just, everything about what he said was really great to me, because he's talking about real life stuff. He's talking about families and injuries and, bad things happening in real life and bad to sit. Like that was just a man-to-man, honest conversation that, if you've ever had a conversation similar to that or had somebody, even if it's work related, when you have those real type of conversations, they're not always the easiest to have. Sometimes you need to hear shit you don't want to hear. And I just thought it was really good. Moxley, this whole thing is Moxley building Will Ospreay back up to win the world title. And I don't know what comes of that. I don't know, because Moxley's obviously still a champion, but I don't know what comes of that. I don't know if Moxley was, Ospreay wins the title, and then Moxley's like, all right, I'm your first challenger. I helped you get it. I don't know where it leads to after that, but Moxley kind of rebuilding Will Ospreay up to win the Owen, which is what's happening, and then eventually probably winning the world title. I'm loving everything about this Death Riders Moxley stuff. And I thought that this promo was really, really good. I enjoyed this a lot. We then get a video package about the Stadium Stampede. It's going to be Jericho, the Hurt Syndicate, and the Elite against the Demand. And then we get a backstage promo with the Demand, who's there with Mark Davis. Ricochet talks about how they get stuff done. He says Mark Davis won the national championship, but that's not all, because thanks to his golfing buddy, Don Callis, we have another member of the team for Stadium Stampede, and he brings in Andrade El Idolo. So he is on the team. He says, Ricochet says, I also met with some people who have a bone to pick with Jericho's super kicking buddies, and they're on the team now, and the War Dogs roll up. He goes, David Finlay cuts a promo. He says, Young Bucks will fight you anywhere. If you want violence and chaos, who better to call the Dogs, who have won 2 matches since they've been there. So, I'm scared of them because they lose all the time, because they immediately don't matter after making them matter. Oh, okay. So, yeah. So we should be, well, apparently the joke went over your head, Eric, if you didn't understand what Kyle was saying there with the how you know. Watch the product, Eric. I'm kidding. Anyway. I wouldn't say I'm worried. I mean, to me, you brought the Dogs in the first 2 or 3 weeks. You brought the Dogs in the first 2 or 3 weeks, they're beating people, and they look like, oh, shit, all right. This is going to be a new trios or tag, however you want to do it. This is going to be good. And they've obviously won matches since, but to me, at least on my eyes that watch a television screen, they haven't won a big match since. They lost their pay-per-view debut for whatever reason. Then they won the trios titles. No. Yeah, they won the trios titles only to lose them a day later, which made them look like fools. Whatever, dude. They're a good team. You can just start having them win matches and they'll be fine. But I don't know what they're doing with the Dogs. Because, all right, they're in this match. This match is going to be chaotic and fun. Sure. But, like, am I supposed to be, Ricochet brings in Andrade, and I'm like, oh, shit, Andrade. Like, oh, okay, yeah. And then he goes, and then I got this team, the Dogs, and it's like, all right, what? Okay. Like, again, like, I'm cool they're in the match. I like both those guys. But, like, why, if I'm on the other team, why am I scared about the team that never wins? Oh, the Dogs are in it? Uh-oh. We've beaten them every time we fight them. Why does that make me nervous? My assumption is, I don't know anything. I am not an insider. I have no idea. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know if he's banged up or if he's issues with I don't know. I have no idea, but he has not been there. So I don't know if he's on vacation. I don't know if he is a little banged up. I'm not sure. But to me, Gabe, even though Finlay was kind of the leader in Japan, I think Gabe should be the leader in AEW because we're more familiar with Gabe. If they're going to do, I think Gabe should be more of the focal piece. All right, so shoulder injury, so he's a little banged up. So I'm cool with them doing the tag team stuff. I'm cool with them being in this match. But, and them losing a 10-man tag, that's fine. But, Clark Connors is the one that got pinned. Clark Connors was the one multiple times in that match that took all the finishing moves. So, at some point you need to make me care about the Dogs again. And maybe they're just waiting and biding time until Gabe comes back. And then when all 3 of them are there, they go towards the trios titles, and maybe it's a little different. I don't know. But, yeah. Then we get Speedball Mike Bailey making his way to the ring. He is accompanied by Kevin Knight. And this was basically a squash match. The opponent that he had was very high-flying. He was doing... they started doing a bunch of flips and reversals and stuff to start the match. But this was very, very quickly. It was BK Westbrook was his name. He goes for a springboard back in. He misses. Speedball hits the corkscrew roundhouse. He goes to the top. He hits the Ultima Weapon. 1, 2, 3. Very, very quick squash match for the most point after some ducking and dodging and kind of feeling out at the beginning of the match. And then what I liked here is Kevin Knight gets right in the ring. They have, they celebrate hey, good for you, Speedball, blah, 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 blah. And we go right in to the open challenge for the TNT title. And we get the returning, and he's always looked good, but he looked like he might be in the best shape of his life in his career. We got the returning Brian Cage. Now, let me tell you, I had issues with this. Not because of who won, because Kevin Knight is incredible, and he's a great TNT champion, and I think he should remain TNT champion. I love the spot for the Brian Cage return, because Brian Cage is a important, like, dude, you just getting Brian Cage back on your roster. That guy can do everything. He can wrestle like a powerhouse. He can wrestle and do flips and runnings. And Brian Cage is incredible. And again, I'm not one of those, like, I can look at it objectively and understand that in the long run, this is not like a bad thing. And Kevin Knight kind of put him over after a little bit. But this guy's been out for a year and a half or over a year. It's been like 13, 14 months, something like that. It's been a while since he's been out. He returns looking in the best shape of his career, and then he loses. Now, it was a great match. It was a valiant effort. He looked great in the match. Kevin Knight and him, obviously, these are two really top-tier guys. It was a great match, and Cage looked like there were multiple times during this match where he maybe could pull off an upset. But nobody really thought he was going to beat Kevin Knight. So it's like, all right, this guy's back. He's big, big return, but he's going to be losing his first night back. So, but this match was really, really good. There was supposed to be a spot where Kevin Knight dove through the ring and he was going to get caught by Brian Cage into the fireman's carry, and then they did a F5 on the apron. They kind of goofed that a smidge, but Cage recovered well and hit the F5, and that kind of led us to our first commercial break. We came back, and Kevin Knight's fighting back. He throws Cage into the steel steps. He does a leaping lariat off the apron, which keeps him down. He goes to the top rope. Lance Archer then tries to run in, but Speedball kind of fends him off with the kick. Brian Cage hits the beautiful where the guy's on the apron, and he hits the deadlift superplex from the apron. Awesome. Kevin Knight kicks out. Then we got Archer and Bailey outside. Archer tries to chokeslam Bailey. He goes, they land on the apron. He moonsaults. Bailey does a reverse moonsault as Cage was going after him. Kevin Knight jumps over a big lariat. He hits a big DDT. They're jockeying for position. Kevin Knight, it looks like Brian Cage is going to hit a avalanche powerbomb on Kevin Knight, but Kevin Knight reverses it into a Frankensteiner from the top rope. Then he's on the top rope. He hits the UFO splash. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Knight and still your AEW TNT champion. Great match. Good to see Brian Cage back. And then after the match, we get a little promo in the ring. Speedball gets on the mic. He congratulates Kevin Knight. He says he's a great champion. And then Knight says, hey, Mike, Speedball, you're red hot right now. He says, Brian Cage, welcome back. You took me to my wit's end. He goes, but I'm still standing the champ. He goes, but I can't get over the fact that I didn't get the job done last week and become Jet 2 belts. And then Speedball kind of cuts him off. And he says that you're a future world champion and everybody knows it, which is true. And then Kevin Knight says, I'll always support you, Mike. And he goes, and I know one day that you're going to be a champion here as well. And then Speedball says, hey, man, that got me thinking. He goes, whoever's in the main event tonight, I want next. He goes, Takeshita, you were my greatest rival in Japan, but we've never wrestled in AEW. And as much as I would love to see MJF bald, I'm coming for Darby Allin's world title. So it seems like next week on Dynamite, Speedball will be the challenger for whoever ends up winning the main event that we'll talk about a little later. So let me pull up my brackets because this is where they announced the men. Oh, you already got to look at this. So they come back from commercial and they announce the men's bracket. We'll talk about the women's one a little later, but they announced the men's bracket for the Owen tournament. And it is as follows. At Double or Nothing, we have a big first round matchup, Samoa Joe and Will Ospreay. We have a rematch with Mark Davis and Jungle Jack Perry on the left side. We have also happening at Double or Nothing, a really great match. Swerve, Strickland, and Bandito. And then on the bottom right, we have Claudio Castagnoli and Brody King. That is a good bracket for the men's side of things. I look at that, and I immediately say it's going to be a Will Ospreay and Swerve final. That's what that seems like to me. I think we get Will Ospreay and Jungle Jack Perry. Actually, Mark Davis would actually work there. So it's probably going to be Will Ospreay and Mark Davis. We have that kind of United Empire match on the left side. And then I think it's Swerve and Brody. We get a rematch of Swerve and Brody on the right side. Although Bandito and Brody would be fun if you had the two friends, former tag partners in the match. But I just can't see Swerve losing in the first round. That's just not going to happen. So you have Swerve and Brody in a rematch probably in the semi on the right. And then you get Ospreay and Swerve at Forbidden Door in the finals. And I would assume Will Ospreay will take that. And then he'll be heading to All In London, going for his first AEW World Championship. That's how I feel that goes. So good bracket on the men's side. We'll dive into the women's one a little bit later. But we come back from commercial, and Jack Perry is backstage. He's like looking at a knife, like he's, I don't know, is he gonna kill somebody? I don't know what that was going on. But he says, I'm sure Mark Davis thinks there's some congratulations in order, but you're not a champion to me. He goes, you needed a friend to clobber me with the golf club to win. He goes, I'll see you at Stadium Stampede. But after that, it's back to basics. And you'll see me in the Owen to prove that I'm a future world champion. And he says, and if you don't like that, fuck you. That's what he says. And then we get Will Ospreay making his way to the ring. And it was Will Ospreay versus Ace Austin. I will say it again. Ace Austin, maybe the most underrated signing in AEW in the last calendar year. That guy's a stud. That guy is somebody, not now, it's not his time. He's having these good matches. Had one with Okada. Had a great one here with Ospreay. This guy is going to be a guy. He's going to be a guy for this company. He will be near the top of the card, I predict, within the next 18 months to 2 years. Like, this guy's a guy. I'm very high on Ace Austin. He's really, really good. Should have been a TNA World Champion. Great signing by AEW. And this match with Ospreay was great. Ace Austin kind of kicked the shit out of Ospreay in this match for the most part. Like, really. Now, I know that's kind of been the Ospreay shtick a little bit. Shtick, I should say. It's like, since he's come back with the neck, like, he has been getting his ass kicked a lot more in these matches and having to overcome a lot more. But this was really, really good, man. This was really, really good, as you would expect. They did a test of strength at one point. Ace Austin, man, he was just the reversals. He was hitting death locks. The Muda lock he had at one point. He was attacking Will's neck. He wasn't like avoiding the neck at all. At one point he did a fireman's carry, and Ace Austin's, a shorter guy, but he did a fireman's carry and he did a squat with Ospreay on top of him that led into a Death Valley driver. That was a cool little spot. Then Ospreay starts fighting back. He misses a plancha. And then Ace Austin has a handstand evasion on the apron at one point that was cool. That went into a drop kick. He hit a plancha of his own. He's fired up. The crowd's getting behind him. He hit an Os cutter that Ace kicked out of. He goes for a hidden blade. He misses that. Austin stomps his head into the mat, which was a really good spot. Clothesline in the corner. He's hitting corner lariats. It was just really, really good, man. Hits a swinging reverse STO at one point. He's setting up Ospreay. He goes for a Will, then reverses it into like a shoulder arm breaker type thing. He's going for cheeky Nando's. He ducks it. There was a Liger bomb that was a 2 count. Then they're trading blows. They're trading right hands, knees, feet, kicks, headbutts. They're going back and forth. And then Ace goes into a rolling elbow, a heel kick. Austin floats over into the corner. We get a springboard roundhouse that kind of staggers Will. He goes into it, and a hidden blade out of like he's running into something, and Will just crushes him with a hidden blade, smashes him. And I thought Ace Austin sold it really well. He almost collapsed, it looked like, into the mat. And then Ospreay gets up, flying armbar, and he makes him tap. And Austin taps really, really good. And then after the match, Ospreay's telling the doctor, "Hey, I'm good. You don't got to check me, check him." He gets down. He does a handshake and some nice words with Austin, kind of putting Ace Austin over, has the crowd clap for Ace Austin. And then we hear the Ops music. And they make their entrance, and Samoa Joe gets on the mic. He calls Ospreay out, repeatedly, says he wanted to make sure Will was listening because these past few weeks, it seems he's hard of hearing. He goes, "Fate has put us on a collision course, and we're going to meet in the opening round of the Owen." And he goes, "I'm here for one reason alone, to speak to Ospreay about consequences." He goes, "You could have had a bye in the first round because that's what I do for my friends." He goes, "You could have joined a team that would love and support you, but instead you became a lapdog for Jon Moxley and the Death Riders." He goes, "You made your choice, and come Double or Nothing, I will make you face the consequences." He goes, "But tonight, I come in peace, and I wish you well, Will." He goes, "But I don't put leashes on my friends," and they're still mad at Ospreay. And then you see Bowens and Shibata start making their way to the ring, but the Death Riders show up. They even the odds. And then the Ops kind of back off. They leave. And that's that. So will we get a 6-man at some point? Will we get, maybe we get a 6-man next week on Dynamite leading into Double or Nothing? Who knows? But that's what we get. Then we go to Renee Paquette. She's backstage with Don Callis and Takeshita. Callis says that Takeshita will be heading into Double or Nothing as world champion, and then MJF rolls in. He says he's been there for 3 years. I faced and beat Takeshita, but I've seen him grow into a hell of a wrestler, and I think he's going to beat Darby Allin. I think he's going to beat Kazuchika Okada at Double or Nothing, and then I can think of no better outcome than to face Takeshita for the world title. He goes, and then Takeshita kind of leaves, and Max and Dawn are now talking, and they're talking about how Takeshita absolutely has to win because he's not going to lose his hair, and he gives Callis the Dynamite Diamond ring to make sure that happens. And then we see Andrade El Idolo. He has a big smile on his face. He takes his cap off. He shakes his long hair in MJF's face, and MJF storms off angrily. And then Idolo tells Callis that next time it needs to be his title. And Dawn says, "We'll see." And that's how this segment ends. So teasing Andrade and MJF. If MJF is going to win the world title back at Double or Nothing, and you're telling me that one of his first opponents is going to be Andrade, let's fucking go, dude. Let's go. I know Andrade's in the Callis family, but he's kind of a tweener. The crowd likes him. I like him. I think we all like him. I'm all in on that, man. No pun intended. Let's go, dude. Let's go. All right. So we come back from commercial. Kyle, if you want to put up that graphic again, we get the Women's Owen Memorial Tournament. Very shocked to not see a certain name on here, but this is a good bracket. On the left side, we got Persephone from CMLL, and we have Hazuki. I don't know much about her, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I do. I don't know much about Hazuki. I don't know if that's a Stardom person. I'm not sure, but that's the first round matchup over there. And then on the bottom left, this match will be happening at Double or Nothing. It is Willow Nightingale going up against Alex Windsor. So Jamie Hayter is in the World Championship match at Double or Nothing for the women. So we're not going to get a bird segment, so I'm glad they put Windsor in this tournament. I don't think she's going to last long in this tournament, sadly, but I'm glad they put Windsor in this tournament. Then on the top right, we have Mina Shirakawa going up against Athena. Good to see Athena in this tournament. And then in the bottom right, we have Sky Blue making their AEW. They're going to be over here for AEW. Sari, who we saw with a cup of coffee in NXT a few years back during the pandemic. Oh, no, really? Well, there you go. I did not see that. So maybe, because if you can get a second round matchup with the rematch of Athena and Mercedes, that's, I think, is what you want if you're not going to do it in the finals. But well, those first three are in the world title match, Eric. Watch the product. Those first three that you mentioned there are in the world title match at Double or Nothing. So they're obviously not going to be in the tournament. But, all right, so if Sari is out, then maybe Mercedes slides in there. I was shocked to not see Mercedes, and hi, Peggy. Hope you're well. I was shocked to not see Mercedes in the bracket to begin with. She's the reigning champion of the Owen. I would think that she would be defending that crown, but she's not. So, but maybe we'll see. If Sari has to be removed, maybe that is a good way to get Mercedes back and in the tournament. So we'll see. We'll see. But the way that I look at this, as it currently stands, this to me feels like a Willow versus Athena final. If Mercedes makes her way back, I would like Athena to win this whole fucking thing, if I'm being honest with you. I understand, obviously, if Mercedes is coming back, Mercedes as a babyface winning and facing Tekla at All In and winning the title for the first time as a babyface, that it would be a much proper way to do things. I personally believe Mercedes will win the AEW women's title as a babyface for her first time. So if Sari is injured, which I don't know why she would say that if she wasn't, and Mercedes is the replacement, you get that rematch with Athena and Mercedes in the semis. And then that would be great, Peggy. I would also love that. If they were going to do that, Ospreay and Windsor are both holding the Owen titles at the end of the night. That would be fun. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, when I'm looking at that, it's Athena all day to me. But if Mercedes gets thrown in there, I think it'll be very hard. Like it was last year, I think it'll be very hard to pick against Mercedes to go back to back, especially if they bring Mercedes back as a good person, like as a babyface. I mean, she's held the thing over 1,000 days. They have a pay-per-view before. Is it like soon? They're going to have at least one, if not two pay-per-views before All In. I mean, listen, I don't know if Athena wins the title, and I don't know who the champion is. Yeah, so they have an event tomorrow night. So she could drop the title tomorrow night. Is she in a four-way? Is she in a multi-person match tomorrow? So she can kind of lose it without losing it, kind of thing. I'm not sure, but I feel like the women's, as currently constituted, is more wide open than the men's. The men's, to me, if you're not picking Will Ospreay, I don't know what you're watching. If you're not picking Will, I mean, I think we've all known that Will Ospreay was going to win the Owens since like last year. So, to me, the men's is not really wide open. The men's it's Ospreay, and if it's not Ospreay, it's because something crazy has happened. Whereas the women's, as I look at that bracket now, there are certainly favorites. Willow's a favorite. Athena's a favorite. But those are the only two to me. Like, I like Alex Windsor a lot. I like Mina a lot. They do not. Willow and Athena are the only two right there that strike winners to me in that women's tournament without Mercedes. So we'll see how it goes. But both tournaments should be good. I love the Owen. I think it's those matches are always fire. I like it. Still waiting on that Women's Continental Classic, Tony. Still waiting on it. All right. We come back. So now we have Renee Paquette in the back. She's talking to Willow Nightingale and the Trios champions. Orange Cassidy says they have a shot at the tag team champions, but they still haven't decided who should challenge for them. And then Kyle says it should be you and Roddy, Orange, that challenge. Roderick Strong yells for Kyle, and he says, thank you. And then Kyle O'Reilly says, but I have some gold that I want to go after myself. He goes, I've already made this guy tap out twice. And if I have it my way, it'll happen again. And he says, Moxley, AEW Continental Championship match. When we doing it, dude? When we doing it? So it seems like we're going to get a run back of that. Then Willow says she opens her backpack and she goes, I still have this. You wouldn't fucking know because she never defends it. So good. I'm glad she showed it. Not her fault, but I'm glad she actually showed it because when was the last time? So why isn't she fighting for that thing all the time? She's your best baby face in the whole fucking company. Have her wrestle. Anyway, so she pulls out the AEW TBS Championship. She says, I'm in the Owen. I still have this. I'm going to win the Owen again. And then I'm going to go on to be double champ. I would totally be okay with that. I love Willow. And then Cassidy says, I feel like we should do a word of the day, but I don't remember why we stopped doing it. And then that was like, oh shit, is Mr. Briscoe back? And then Roderick Strong yells, Mark! And Briscoe's back, baby. And he says the word of the day is reunification because he's back. And I'm coming for Tommaso Ciampa. And Collision is right near my hometown. So he says he wants Tom on Saturday. And then they all walk off. And then Renee Paquette and Orange Cassidy kind of do their small talk that they do. Very good. Very good. Good to see Briscoe back. He had been gone for a little bit, cleaning up some injury stuff. He's good. Him and Ciampa running that back. Cool. I'm for it. Love it. There we go. So then we went into a 6-women tag match. It was the Brawling Birds teaming up with Hikaru Shida to take on the Triangle of Madness, the AEW Women's Champion, Tekla, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. This match was pretty good. They said on commentary that Statlander was injured, so she couldn't travel, because my thoughts would have been it would have been Hayter, Shida, and Statlander in this match. Obviously, the 3 challengers to Tekla. But they replaced Statlander with Windsor and the Birds, and had the Birds team, which was a perfect fit in. Like, it was a perfect replacement with the Birds and Windsor, who's in the Owen now. So, like, it was a great replacement and decision, but obviously that was supposed to be Stat with the 3 challengers against the champion in tag form. But this was really, really good. They started brawling to start the show. Referee gets it under control. The baby faces take advantage for a while. Tekla hits a really good crossbody off the top rope that wipes out the Birds. We go to our first break. We come back, and Shida gets a hot tag. She gets a good running knee. She whips Julia Hart into Tekla. She hits the running knee on the Spider, who hooks Julia. She suplexes her. They're trading elbows. There's a bunch of quick tags from the Triangle of Madness. They're really beating down Shida. They take Alex Windsor. They get her into the corner. Then the match kind of breaks down again. We get into the everything's doing something cool territory of these multi-person matches where everybody's hitting everybody. We get a hater breaker. We get an inverted surfboard stomp. We get a Liger bomb. Sky Blue breaks it up with the super kick. She's the legal person. Windsor shrugs off the code blue. They're trading headbutts. Tekla then whips the title out, and she cracks Jamie Hayter right over the head with the title, right in front of the referee. So the referee calls for the disqualification, a rare disqualification in AEW. And the Brawling Birds and Hikaru Shida get the win by DQ. Post-match, the Triangle of Madness are beating down the Birds. Julia Hart then spits mist into the referee, Paul Turner. He gets misted. Shida is kind of she wasn't like unconscious, but she was kind of like ringside, like not paying it. I don't know the proper word, but she was kind of out of it around ringside. So you see Willow Nightingale, Mina, and Thunder Rosa runs down to make the save, and the Triangle of Madness run off, and that's how this kind of ended. I understand the DQ with Tekla. She's a shithead. They were going to lose, so she didn't want to lose. I mean, they lost anyway, but you know what I mean. But not 100% thrilled about the only women's match on the show ending in a DQ. Does it build to the story? Yeah, but I think everything kind of got thrown away a little bit when Stat wasn't there. I think that probably changed maybe some of the creative plans of what was going to happen. I would have thought that maybe Stat would get a pinfall victory over Sky Blue or Julia in this match. I thought the baby faces would win because, Tekla's the bad guy heel champion. So you get the good guys winning and it's like, one of us is going to take your belt next week, like that type of thing. But yeah, I would have liked more than a DQ for the only women's match on the show. But I thought the post-match angle, I think what they're doing here, the 4-way, I'm excited about. Like, it is what it is. We got a little hype reel for Roosh. Cool. And then we come back, and it's main event time. It's AEW World Championship time. It's Darby Allin once again defending, this time against Konosuke Takeshita. And boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Let me tell you this, okay? Darby Allin won this title a month ago. This has been a tremendous title reign for Darby Allin. Tremendous. The run that he is on, defending he's defend this title every show almost. I think there's only been like one collision that he hasn't defended this title since he won it. And he is fighting legitimate dudes. He has fought Brody King. He has fought Pac. He has fought Kevin Knight. He has fought Tommaso Ciampa. And now he has fought Konosuke Takeshita. And every single one of these matches have been excellent. Excellent. This has been a tremendous title run for Darby Allin. And he's getting another. This match, I almost feel like this match should have been next week. Even though it would have been Takeshita taking a loss heading into Double or Nothing, I feel like Takeshita should have been the final boss for Darby before MJF. Because Takeshita beat the brakes off. And I know Darby gets the brakes beaten off him a lot. Takeshita beat the brakes off this boy last night. The ending sequence of that, when Takeshita kicked out of the first coffin drop, and then he hit the repeated knees and shit, I was like, they're not going to. I go, there's no way. But I was like, is Takeshita going to win? It was supposed to be Okada. That is true. It was supposed to be Okada, but Okada's dealing with some family stuff. So it was a replacement, and Takeshita replacing Okada and losing, that's just more fodder for Okada to come back and be like, you took my place and you lost, you idiot. Like, that's just more shit. Oh, that Blue Thunder bomb to the floor was unbelievable, dude. This match was, Takeshita is so fucking good. And that's not taking anything away from Darby, because Darby has shut a lot of people up. A lot of people up with this reign, because this has been tremendous. If you're still saying negative, you don't have to like Darby Allin as a wrestler or a person, that's fine. But if you're still saying you don't think he deserves to be champion, or you have concern, you are crazy. I would say 5. Kyle. I personally, I probably have him and Io Sky as top 2. No joke. Takeshita is incredible. But yeah, the Blue Thunder bomb off the apron to the floor was incredible. The German suplex, the Avalanche German suplex. I've seen it happen before, and Excalibur did a really good job on commentary, where most of the time I've seen that before, they let go. They'll do the Avalanche German suplex, and they'll let go. So the wrestler lands, like a German, but they let go. Takeshita held on, dude. Takeshita did a top rope German suplex and held on and went into the bridge. I have never seen that before. And Darby kicked out at 2.999. And I almost lost my shit. Unbelievable, dude. There was some Callis family interference at one point. El Clone runs in, and then that distracts the ref. And Callis gets up, and he gives the Dynamite Diamond Ring to Takeshita, and he's saying, hit him with it. And Takeshita is like looking like he's going to put it on his finger. He's like that. And then he just throws it away, and he goes, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not winning that way. Crowd pops. Callis is pissed. Pay attention. Callis is pissed. Then Darby catches him with a small package. Takeshita kicks out. What's going on, Tom? Good to see you, friend. Takeshita hits Darby with an elbow right in the face, and Darby starts immediately bleeding from the mouth. Immediately. There's just this thick-ass elbow right to the face. Darby Allin bleeding upon impact. Darby then reverses it into the Last Supper, which he's won a bunch of matches with. Takeshita kicks out. He hits a coffin drop to the floor. Both men are down. They break the count at 9. Takeshita, they break the count. Then Takeshita, he throws them back on the floor. They're going on the steel steps. Takeshita climbs the steel steps. He's trying to use it. Darby gets on his feet. It looks like Takeshita is going to like brain buster him or suplex him off the steps, but he slips out. He hits a scorpion death drop on the steel steps. He hits another coffin drop on the floor. He rolls them inside. Takeshita kicks out. They go back and forth. Darby blocks a big knee. He steps through. He hits one of the worst scorpion deathlocks I've ever seen in my life. Darby, I love you. I love you. But that scorpion deathlock was so bad last night, it made the Rocks look good. That's how bad that scorpion deathlock looked. Brutal, buddy. I know you're having a tough match. I know you're tired. I know you're bleeding. Tighten it up. Tighten it up. That wouldn't even hurt me. That looks so shitty. Anyway. Takeshita gets to the ropes. They break the deathlock. But as he gets to the rope, Darby flies to the top rope. He hits a coffin drop. He runs to the other corner. He hits a second one. He falls and collapses on top of Takeshita. 1, 2, 3. Darby Allin is still the AEW World Champion. Terrific main event. Terrific. Very, very good. And then post-match, a bloody, beaten down Darby calls MJF. He calls him out. He says, "Get your ass out here. Sign this damn contract." The crew gets in there. They put the table up. They're getting everything in there. And then Max makes his entrance. He's walking to the ring. The crowd is just repeatedly chanting "bald" to him. He gets the contract. He's considering it. He brings a pen over. It looks like he's going to sign it, but he's just kind of hesitant. That would have been good. That would have been a nice touch if he used his blood to sign it. He acts like he's going to go sign it. Then he has second thoughts and he's doing all this stuff. Then he grabs a mic and he says, "Darby, I want to explain something to you." He goes, "Even though you look like you have rabies," that made me laugh. He goes, "I'm happy for you. And I hope you had fun holding this title." He goes, "Deep down, there's even a small part of me about the size of a man from North Carolina's penis." He goes, "That feels bad for you, Darby, because you're never going to hold that title again." He goes, You got it. He goes, "You got as good a shot at holding that again as Hangman does." You didn't have to bring that up, MJF. You didn't have to bring that up. That's too soon. That's too soon. He goes, "Guys like you, Darby, are a dime a dozen. Stuntmen who burn the candle at both ends. People like to pretend that life is about making friends and family and children, but really it's about your legacy. And Allen's legacy will be about his 15 minutes of fame, and people will pretend that he's had an impact, but the fact is, bud, you have not." He goes, "We both know deep down you're just a little prick that got lucky, too reckless and stupid to stay on top." I don't think he got lucky, but there's some facts right there, Max is saying. And he goes, "And after May 24th at Double or Nothing, and that shithole known as New York City," facts, Max says he's going to go down as the guy who became a 3-time world champion at just 30 years of age, which is unprecedented. He's going to go down as the greatest of all time, and that's the difference between them. Darby, and then he goes, "Darby brags about climbing a mountaintop, but when it comes to wrestling, MJF is the mountaintop." Good line by MJF. Darby grabs the mic. He says, "Shut up." He says, "You're so vain that you think the only thing that matters is legacy. I care about living in the moment. I don't care about legacy. And in this moment, I want you to sign this contract so at Double or Nothing, I can make you a bald-headed bitch. And then bald-headed bitch chants start going on, and Max signs the contract. Then he kind of walks around the table holding the contract. He takes Darby down. He's hammering him with ground punches. He chucks the chair out of the ring. He upends the table. He heads to the corner. He has the Dynamite diamond ring on his fist, and he drops Allen with one good right hand. Max takes his jacket and scarf off. He grabs the title belt. He holds it high over Darby's body, and he calls himself the best professional wrestler in the world. He drops the belt on Allen, and he leaves the ring, and then he kind of stops up the ramp, and he heads back inside. He drags Darby to his feet. He puts him in the corner. He sets him up what he looks like he's going to be giving him an avalanche tombstone pile driver. But Kevin Knight comes in. MJF drops Darby, and he runs out of the ring. He makes the save, and that is how the show goes off the air. Great episode of Dynamite. Really strong opening 10-man. Really strong Ospreay and Ace Austin match. Very strong main event. And the ladies match was good. Just didn't like the DQ finish, but the ladies 6-woman match was good too. It's just a good show. We got Collision this week. Next week we have a 3-hour Dynamite, and then we will be at Double or Nothing. Yeah, I get it, but I mean, I understand why you have that opinion, but I mean, he's still top tier. He's still top caliber wrestler in the world. And he's over as hell. He's a top baby face. You know, I don't think it's him or nothing in AEW, but like they have specifically not made him a world champion yet for this occasion. Like he's, you know, they have been saving this. And I wouldn't say it's an upset. I mean, look at when he signed, he was arguably the best wrestler in the world. I don't think much has changed on that front. He had the big neck injury, but I think that this whole time of him coming back and the way that his matches have gone, I feel like this is very much on purpose. Like I feel like he's been showing flashes of that Will Ospreay in ring, but not the whole time. And they're playing it off that the neck is the reason. I think by the time he wins the world title at All In, like he's going to be back to regular Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? And I think was probably part of it. WWE wanted him. They offered him a lot of money to get him to go to AEW, regardless of whether he tells you he was not interested in WWE. He was. And I think they have to get their return on investment. And I think he's a guy that he cuts a great promo. He's still probably top 5 wrestler in the world, top 10 at worst. Listen, on the babyface side of things, besides Hangman, who can't even win the world title anymore, who else is like, you know, they could make other top, like Ospreay's the guy. I really do dig the Death Rider shit though. I am very intrigued with the Ospreay Death Rider stuff. It's been my favorite thing that they've been doing on the shows is the Death Riders and the Moxley and Ospreay dynamic. I love it. But that was the show. Good episode of Dynamite. We have the Go Home show last night. Programming announcement. Your boy will be at the 3-hour Dynamite next Wednesday. It is in Portland, Maine, about an hour from me. I will be in the building for all 3. And unfortunately, due to the shoot job, there will not be a Kayfabe coffee next Thursday. I have to work. So what you guys should do is you should follow the Main Event Wrestling Net so we all can get rich and not have to go to real work. And then you should follow me. Oh, well, that's covering it now. But you should follow me here and give me money so I don't have to go to work. There we go. But mainevent_.net, Twitter, if you call it X, goodbye you. I will never. Twitter, Instagram, this QR code right up here, this lovely QR code. Click that shit. It'll bring you everywhere you need to go. Subscribe, follow, click the bell for notification, share it out. Do it all. Because we got great shit here every single day of the week. Next Friday and Saturday, May 22nd, May 23rd, part 2 of the main event marathon, 24 straight hours. Debates, preview shows, watch-alongs. And there will be plenty of surprises galore. Do it up. Do it up. Besides the champion, I don't disagree. I don't think they've done enough to make Sky Blue, and the Julia Hart fall from grace has been that's a story you could tell. But I like Tekla. I think Tekla is very, very good. The thing about MJF and Ospreay, I think Ospreay would look. They're both top tier guys. They would both do great in WWE. I am not one of those people. I saw MJF respond to a fan yesterday who basically said the same thing, Kyle, like, can't wait to see you in WWE at one point. And MJF basically said, or if you like me so much, you can just watch the product I'm on, because there are alternatives. And I think, look, do I think MJF will be in WWE at some point way down the line? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know where we'll have to see how that plays out. But I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those people that, I don't think everybody needs to go to WWE. That's all. And the MJF character, even though WWE's gotten a smidge more edgy, they swear a little bit now, Raquel saying that line to Paige on Monday, like, we're just waiting to see what scandal, like they're a little bit more edgy. I agree. And I think AEW specifically over the last 2 to 3 years has gotten a lot better about that. I just think that's the nature of where we're at with the two big companies, as everybody says that. But I don't think that MJF would not be able to be MJF if he was in WWE. He just would not be able. He would be MJF, but there would be a cap on how MJF could get. Now, would he make it work and turn it into $1 million? Yeah, I believe he will be one of, if not the greatest of all time, by the time he's done. I believe that. So would he be able to make it work? Of course he would. I think he's just that good of a talent. But at the same time, I don't want to see a cap on MJF. I want to see MJF be as sleazy, as shitty, as asshole-ish as he ever could. And I don't think he can do that in WWE. Now, you never say never, always in pro wrestling. But that is kind of what it is for me. But we are going to get out of here. Appreciate you hanging out. I will do a live video from the show. And then next week, because I won't be here for Kayfabe Coffee on that Thursday, I will release a picks video. I'll give my picks for Double or Nothing that I'll send over to Kyle so he can whip them up and put it out on the socials some point late next week before the show. I'll do my picks and stuff like that. So you guys will get a little bit of me, and then we'll be back the following week for all the what happens after Double or Nothing and the post Double or Nothing Dynamite. We'll be reviewing that right here, 9 a.m. Eastern on Kayfabe Coffee. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone giving a follow. You can follow me right here, JPJ Loves Gaming. You can find me doing Between Two Beards Thursday nights at 8 Eastern on Love Wrestling. Sunday afternoons, coast to coast on Fightful Overbooked with Auntie Collins. You can find me here doing Kayfabe and Kayfabe Coffee and a few other things. I do some mixers. I do some preview shows, some things like that. Give us a follow here, mainevent_.net. Appreciate you all hanging out for this morning. Have a good rest of your Thursday. And until then, we will see you soon. Peace out.
What up, though? You already know what it is. Best in the world, a.k.a. The Problem. Isaiah Bronin. And you watching the Main Event Wrestling Network.